So this game, white, just to review this, white just didn't put his pieces on squares where they did anything. The bishop kept moving. Went to b5, and now backs up to e2, and black is, expanding his territory, and white never gets his queen really developed. The knight on, he did this to put the to chase the rook out with bishop c3. So one possible move here is b3 right now. That gives the knight a flight square. Okay. And then we can try to redirect the knight back into play maybe by way of d3 and f4. But white never utilizes his pieces. And then here he just wasted time with that, and black attacks the knight and white misses it. He just, like I say, either a mouse slip or whatever, and game over, and then white helped black trade off. Black's happy to trade off, and it just reaches a winning ending. And now he walked into a pin, he's going to lose his bishop. Okay, let's find another game. Why didn't it click? There it goes. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'll get somebody middle of the road here. Here we go. Hope they're not playing blitz. They're playing blitz. Maybe. There was a way to see the time control, but I blundered into it. Oh, well, let's see. This is clearly a route on black's part. The white pawns are blockaded. Black just queens and gets a mate. Keep the king boxed in. Black one. Okay, let's take a. It's over. I don't know what kind of time control they play, but let's take a look at it. Okay, so not very aggressive. E3, playable. Now, black has just blundered a piece. Bishop takes g4, wins a piece. He didn't see it. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, what can I say? Free pieces come up in these Chess for Kids games. But, if black castles, notice how symmetrical we are, except for the position of the bishops. Black's bishop's a little more active. Must be a mouse slip. Okay. And puts the rook back. He stole a pawn. So, white's up 2 pawns, black's king on f8. White is better here. Now, you should take with the queen. This is illogical. Queen takes c3. Well, he didn't. Now he's got some crippled pawns. That helps white. So white's up 2 pawns, but he's got 4 double pawns on the board. Trading queens wouldn't be bad for white, but let's maybe pin the knight. Bishop b5. Very good. See? I'm not reading the score sheet. I don't see these moves. Okay, now maybe trade queens and put the rook on d1. No, why don't I just take the pawn? Okay, so how does white bundle this game? He had to. Okay, now black probably should have taken, well, he couldn't take with the rook. That's not a rook on f8, that's a king. Okay, black has a shattered pawn structure. Now bishop b5. Let's play it again. Let's get that pin back. And he did. Okay. Black's in trouble here. Just check. Take the rook. Oops. Now white lost this game. This is amazing. Black had to play king g7 here. Let's see. King g7. That's a fight. Trade rooks and then save your bishop. And you're actually 3 pawns up. White has 7 pawns, black has 4. Okay, so you got the bishop back. There goes a pawn with check. So white had to blunder his rook here. So knight d4 is going to force some wood off the board. He didn't see it. Okay, knight d4. If black takes, white takes back with his c pawn, and he cruises. If black counterattacks the rook, the knight falls with check. So knight d4 was a strong move. This attacks the knight too, but he just takes a pawn. I didn't take the pawn. Okay, now I don't know. Let's see. White's up the exchange in 3 pawns. There, that's where he lost. He's about to lose his rook here. Okay, so the knight's under attack, the rook's under attack. He has to play rook h4. So it's amazing he plays this. He doesn't notice that either white are under attack, or you can say both are under attack. So black has his choice. He takes the rook probably. And okay, it was probably important that white keep that knight there. Why, you ask? Well, it controls c4. It keeps the black king out. Now, that's not to say that black can't find resources here. Let's see. Strategically, black is winning this because, it does have a pawn majority and he has an extra piece, but the check allows in, and then you're going to drop the pawn. See, now black has 2 pass pawns, and he's driven the knight to the side. Now that knight, anytime that knight moves, it's going to get exchanged. So black can just run his pawn up the board. He doesn't. He would rather grab a pawn. Okay, well, probably direct just to run that pawn down the board, but this is what he wanted to do. Now this is a mistake, but I guess it was trapped anyway, and that's how we reached this position, and white gave up. Okay, so blunders are going to happen in blitz chess. Sometimes both sides have played an okay game, but they made mistakes, and the one that loses says, "Well, I guess I made the last blunder." He's saying, "I blundered, you blundered." Yeah, you're right. It's a fair statement. I made the last blunder. We both know we blundered. I made the last one. You won. If you make the last one, I win. Maybe. Okay, why isn't it clicking over play fast? There we go. Okay. We don't look at play slow because those are correspondence games. Okay, so let's... I want to find a close match. Rating, this is close. Oh, where'd it go? Pterodactyl. Oh, I've looked at warm lobster. Well, we'll look at this. Hopefully they're playing a slow game. We're out of time. White won. Okay, well, it doesn't matter what time control they played. We'll take a look. Okay, looks like white is crushing. 2 queens on the board. Now, the correct way to take is with the D pawn. Now, black can get the pawn back with queen g5. He doesn't do it. Now he's the pawn down. So the question is, does black have compensation for the pawn? And the answer is no, he doesn't have enough development. You need 3 tempos for a pawn. Okay, pins the knight. That helps black a little bit. It gets his bishop out. Now black does have the bishop pair. When I was younger, I saw a game that Reuben Fine, he was he was a world champion candidate back in the 30s. He's American. World War II got in the way, and then in 1948 they had a tournament for the world championship, and the top players in the world played, and Fine was invited, but he declined and continued his career as a psychologist. He may have been the strongest player at one point in his career. He was definitely at his peak. He was definitely top 5 in the world. Alyakin, but Bofinic, Paul Carey's, and Capablanca was starting to fade. But he can, and you can argue him into the top 3 or top 2, or you can even make an argument that he was an uncrowned champion. But okay, that's a little biographical detail. I get carried away. He played a game in the 30s when he was up and coming against Capablanca in a simul. Capablanca was playing a simul, and Fine had the 2 bishops. He was down a pawn, but he had real good bishops, and he just worked Kappa and outplayed him. So black does have compensation here for now, in the fact that he has the 2 bishops. But the moment he trades one off, that compensation may disappear. And with these center pawns here, the bishops are kind of limited. At some point, black needs to push c5, and and then try to to get rid of one, and then try to get rid of the d pawn somehow. And then the board is wide open for the bishops. Okay, so white just wasted 2 moves here. Okay, black's doing okay. White's being a little passive with his knight, so this is a good time for c5. Okay, well, that puts a rook on the file. Now c5. Well, wrong way to go. The reason it's the wrong way to go is if you advance that pawn up to a4 and take on b3, b3 is still protected, and all you're doing is opening up the a file for white. Why would you want to open up room for white to play? Okay, but the c5, the pushing to c5. Now, ideally, white can set up a blockade on d4, but make white find the strategy. It's a known strategy. The higher up you go, but when you're still a low-rated player, and we're assuming these ratings are maybe accurate to their true strength. I don't know, but they are kids, and maybe they've learned these concepts. So maybe not. So a4 doesn't help black, and here white shoots himself in the foot. Let him do it. Let him take, and you got a file. Okay. So threads the double pawns, stops that. Now black has maybe a threat here. He wants to take the knight, which is defending h2, and push this pawn. But I don't know, that knight can come back to f1 and guard h2. Now this is extremely double-edged. maybe black should take on g3. That gets rid of his bishop pair, but it leaves white with some double pawns. But this is playable. Keeping the bishops on is fine. But it's going to pitch this pawn here. He should play knight takes h5, and he doesn't. Okay, he wants the bishop pair. He's also threatening. Well, white has two threats here. Win a pawn on e6 and win a pawn on h5. So I can't see how that helps. Bishop takes g3. Now, he could play knight takes e6 here, and pawn takes, but this queen can take on g3, and suddenly there's counterplay from black. So this doesn't help his position. And now g6 is weak, and white's picked up a second pawn. Now he's going to check and pick up the bishop. So he missed it. Okay, so white to play, rook takes g6 check, and rook takes g3. And you go up 3 pawns. Okay, so there's a check threat on f2, kind of transposed to what I was talking about. That's a good move. White's willing to trade queens, and black shouldn't be. And he did. Now black has a dilemma. Pawns on c6 and g6 are under attack. And now white's just up 2 pawns, and it should be relatively easy. Oop, there's a mouse slip. There goes the rook. Okay, so it's getting kind of hopeless, though. White controls the e file. Yeah, this is game set match. Okay. Play fast. Reminder, play slow as correspondence games. I looked in there to see if I could see any positions. I couldn't. Okay, what's happening here? I just saw one on my check. I lost it. Let's try this one. It's kind of close. Minor writer versus awesome laptop. He has an awesome laptop, and he's missing all of his stuff. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're not going to dwell on this long. How did he lose? I can't stay with it. Okay, White, get your checkmate. I want to see it. He's missing all of his back rank, and White's only traded off a couple of pawns, a bishop and a knight. I remember getting games like this when I was a kid. I played the next door neighbor, back when I was like 3rd grade, and I remember one game, we were laughing about it afterwards. Not only did I checkmate him, I had all my pieces except for one bishop. He managed to capture one of my bishops, and we were laughing about it. He holds it up. Yeah, I got one of your pieces. Okay. White's even behind on the clock here, but that shouldn't matter. How did black lose so many pieces? He was looking at his opening moves. They brought his queen out early. Okay, well. Does White know how to get a checkmate here? See, if I try to go to the original position, it bounces me back, I think. Let's see, maybe I'm wrong. But I'm not sure if you can see it, so I'm just going to let this game wrap up. A few things evaporated quickly here. You know, he got rid of a lot of those pawns in a hurry. He's about to get a second queen. Looks like rook g5 would have been mate. For only the last move. Okay. Maybe black is going to just lose on time. I don't see how he avoids mate here. Well, you can play f2 check, and then f4, that'll clear a square. He almost has to play f2 here. y1, game abandoned. Okay. How did he lose all of his pieces? So, you know, we're not going to learn much for this except how to beat, if you're a child, how to beat other kids. Free pawn, free queen, free rook. Okay, black only has 2 bishops, 2 knights, and a rook to lose. Now there goes the other one to that fork. Okay. And he doesn't take the knight, goes after the pawn. He did take the knight, but he loses this knight. Okay, black, oh, there goes the bishop. Now he just has to lose his knight. Oh, there it goes. Queen takes f3. Kaboom. Okay, well, what can I say? Dear Potato and Benvenide's Rachel. Okay, kind of a mismatch, but we haven't looked at Dear Potato yet. Okay, hey, they're taking their time too. So the black king is displaced. That knight is wedged in on d6, and let's see. A competitive game here. White still needing to develop a few things. Black can undermine the pawn on e5 with f6. Now that helps black. You know, got rid of the congestion in there. Now he's getting his guys developed. So black looks okay here. Black's got that. Now this is smart. Move the king up, swing the rook out, and castle by hand. And that black king should be very, very safe. So white needs to castle. Now if he had to play a5, that gives b5 to black. I mean to white. Okay, so swing the rook over. There you go. And this game is a fight. Okay, so black is doing well. I don't know why white took on c8. That just helped black out a lot. And white's d3 pawn is weak. So double up the rooks on the D file. Yep, now 3 attackers on D3, 3 defenders. And white's the higher rated player here. So let's see. Knight D4 is a nice outpost for the knight. Let's see, what is he doing with that knight? Is he trying to go to F1 or is he trying to go to G5, G4? Well, he took G4 away. I like black here. And the time spent is about even. They both have 7 minutes remaining. Okay, watch the rook on C3. The rook on C3 is pinned. Can he get away with knight takes D3 here? And he's just going to pile up on it some more. And white just says, you want the pawn? Come take it. So take with the rook and keep the file open. Well, black's ahead a pawn. Has a couple of decent looking knights. White's minor pieces don't have much scope. There's the potential pin on the A1 H8 diagonal. Now the pin is broken. That knight moved out of there. Oh, pin is back. I spoke too soon. So black has some difficulty here. Does he have to give up the exchange? Well, no, you could play knight F4. Knight takes, rook, pawn takes. Like he did. Okay, knight F4. Now you gotta take with the pawn, you don't want to trade. Well, no, you know, you could take with the queen. You missed a chance to take with the queen. Because if queen takes D4, black plays knight takes E2 check and wins the queen, has 2 knights versus a rook. Now this is risky here. You're giving up a pawn to do this. Maybe more of the point would have been E5. So black is going a little quick here. Okay, well, black's down the exchange, but he's got a couple of knights bouncing around. He's trying to bust up that white king position, but you know, the knight on B4 is not helping the attack on the king, so. And D4 looks loose. There, he threw that in there. Okay. Uh-oh, there goes the queen. Game over. Well, not game over, he can play on, but it's resignable. He's still playing. Not much hope. They're down a queen and a rook. You only have a knight compensation. And then he's picking up the pawn. Why is black still playing on? Now it's mate. Oh, he missed. He missed rook d8 mate. Oh well, you can rectify it. He wants to win everything. Okay, now he's going to win everything because he's going to take that pawn. Oh well. Now it's mate. Queen b7 or queen f8, either one. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Don't start a new one. Okay, so this was an interesting game. Black had the better of this. He's playing a higher rated player. Okay, so white's ahead in development now, but you know, look. What helped black was when white took on c8. You know, it just defied, you know, good logic. Now here's a case. Pushing c4, it drives the knight out, but it yields that b4 square for the black knight. Now that helps them out. I mean, helps black out a lot. You know, I was saying white can try to, or black can try to play f6 to undermine that knight, but let's wait and make him do it first. You know, let's develop something. You know, or maybe play d4 here. You know, anything. Just don't take that. So now black's position suddenly looks really, really good, and black's making, you know, some great moves here. He's setting up to castle by hand. And now white has a weakness upon on d3. The d4 square is weak, b4 is weak, b3 is weak. And, you know, he's just putting that pressure. And I was worried about that pin that materialized on the a1, h8 diagonal. And here he just gives up the pawn. And I was saying take with the rook. Now we got to be careful. So let's see what could black do here. See, black's up a clean pawn. He's got a better queen because white queen's in the corner. His knights are better. His rooks are better. His king is safe. He's a pawn up. How do you win this with black? Now, I like what he was trying to do, but he walked into a pin. He played knight here. Now, here he needs to take with the pawn. That was the problem. But there was a trick here. Okay, one thing black could do is play queen takes knight. Now, if white's not careful and plays queen takes queen, black has knight takes e2 check, followed by knight takes d4, and black has a completely one endgame. The two knights will slaughter that rook. Okay? But queen takes d4. He doesn't have to play queen takes. He needs to save his bishop. I don't know if black got anything up, but it might have been worth a try. But let's back this up. See, you know, this is a winning position for black. So how do you win it? Well, one way is go for the ending. Rook takes, rook takes, rook takes, queen takes, and now play the queen to d1. Okay, now if white wants to trade queens, he's just getting a really bad endgame. And the white bishop doesn't really have targets on the pawns. So that would be the simplest way to trade down. No, that would do it. Okay, let's go forward. But he took with the pawn. But this gives him some compensation. But g4 was too early. Okay, because it just pitched the pawn. So black needs to come up with something else here. E5. E5 makes some sense because you're trying to play E4. And, black has a 5-3 pawn majority from the D file over to the H file. So, you would end up with this great looking pawn center, and, that would constrict white a lot. It should give black some compensation. He does have compensation. See, point count exchanges is rook for minor piece and 2 pawns. So technically it's like an exchange sacrifice where you're getting 1 pawn compensation for it. But even better, you're using that pawn to your favor. So E5, how does white stop E4? And the answer is he doesn't. Okay, it's coming. Now, white could try a tricky move on e4. He could play bishop d5. The idea is that if, well, no, bishop d5 is no good because black just plays knight e2 check and gets back the exchange, and that is winning. But black is, I don't think black's losing if he gets that pawn up to e4, because white has no open lines, for his pieces, and the weak link would be d4. We don't necessarily want to push it to d3, even if it was safe, because that might open up that diagonal for the white queen. But we can just maintain those center pawns here, and black is okay. Okay, so we got about 7 minutes. Let's see whether anything else happened. But does he still have a chance here? And the answer is no, because this just dropped the queen. So, and then he played it out to mate. So I think this pawn has to drop. Or no, you could play e5 still here. But it's harder because we no longer have 1 pawn compensation. We have 2. Okay, so let's switch over to play. Let's see what we got here. I want to find someone I don't see. Plastic Temple and Glad Toad. Look at that poor rook on h1. Oh my goodness. No, you can play knight f3. I mean, white's played 4 pawn moves right out of the opening, and one of them got captured. Now instead of knight f3, he decides to toss a bishop at it. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, you have to take it if you're black. It's a gift. There goes the rook. Black is They had a rook and a bishop already. So, you know, White didn't watch his chess pieces and keep them safe. Okay, there's really nothing we can look at here. I'm going to leave this one. Sorry. Sorry, I'm leaving your game. Right? I think we looked at right jury. Let's come down to the bottom. Let's see what's going on way down here. Here's a rating 116. Reflective brother. He just lost his queen. Will he see to take it back? No, he missed it. Oh, no. Okay, so king, pawn opening, kings. I have no idea. This opening, we're gonna. This will wrap up, and we'll close out today's broadcast with this. I just scrolled up and saw the opening moves. This is hysterical. And I've seen this stuff happen before. Essentially what happens is black doesn't know what to do, so he starts copying white. And that never works out because eventually there comes a move that you can't copy. Okay, 26 seconds left. Black is going to lose on time if he doesn't get forfeited for game abandonment. That says 14.8 seconds. It froze for a second. Okay. They're still managing some moves, I think. But the clock is over. Okay, white won. Alright, let's go back to the beginning. Okay, watch. Let's copy. And now look at white. And black does the same. And let's start over. We had a bad opening. Let's play a Ruy Lopez. Knight f3, okay? And the way black was copying, he could have got him in that trick in the Petrov defense, Russian defense. Okay, this is hysterical. Okay, so when is when is he not going to be able to copy him? Okay, well, you know. He's still copying him. He's going to run into trouble here in a bit. One way to stop him from copying is to take pawn takes e5, and then when he takes on e4, you take the bishop with check, and you win a piece. Oh, he didn't copy him. No, he's copied him, but he's down a tempo. Okay, so now the copying is over. Now he's just starting to collect stuff. And white's getting close to getting checkmated here. But black doesn't see it. He offers some work. Okay. Well, you know, this stuff's bound to happen. Like I say, hey, you know, they're playing chess. They're having fun. What does that mean? It means tomorrow they come back and play more chess. There he takes the... He didn't take the queen. I know at some point white took that queen and black didn't take back. There, see, he didn't take back. Okay. Well, I want to thank everyone for watching. I've been enjoying the Chess Kids. At least for me, it's a lot of fun. You guys can, there's a chat room here. You can talk to me. Say, hey, I'm rated 1100 and I'm not learning a thing from you. Or you can say I'm rated 1400, and I think if you keep this up, I'm going to be 1700 in a year. You know, tell me something. Feedback. Okay. Thanks all for watching.